All right, so let's say you're given this equation here, and the question asks you to convert into vertex form. Start. To convert from standard form, which is the equation of this form here, which we can identify that our equation is indeed standard form. To convert this equation into vertex form, given by this format here, where h and k is the vertex of the parabola, we can start by step 1, factoring a from the x squared and x terms, if a does not equal 1. In the case that a equals 1, we can skip this step. To factor out the a term, we can multiply by a over a, bringing the a term in the denominator inside to the x squared and x terms, leaving the c outside. And if we do that, we get this expression. We plug that in. We can note that the coefficient on the x squared term is now just 1, which we want. And we can also note that we left the c term alone outside of the bracket. Step 2, inside the bracket, we take 1/2 of the coefficient on the x term, square it, and then add and subtract it. Essentially, what we're doing is completing the square for the expression inside the bracket. So in our expression here, we can identify that the coefficient on the x term is b over a. So we multiply this by 1/2, and then we square it, which we get this here, and then we can add and subtract by it, like so, arriving at this expression. And then step 3 from here, we take out the negative b squared over 4a term, and we rewrite the rest as a perfect square trinomial. So we can take this term out by multiplying it by a. If we do that, we get this expression. Then from here, we can factor into a perfect square trinomial of this form by using the technique of finding two numbers that multiply to equal c and add to equal b. We can identify that that's going to be b over 2a, because b over 2a times b over 2a is going to be b squared over 4a squared, and then b over 2a plus b over 2a is going to be b over a. We can plug these values in for the factored form, and we can notice that both of them are the same, so it's the same as x plus b over 2a squared. So we can plug that in for the original trinomial, and if we do that, we arrive at this expression here. So this is the general solution for how to convert from standard to vertex form. If we note that this is the general vertex form equation, you can identify that h is going to be equal to negative b over 2a, and k is going to be equal to negative b squared over 4a plus c in general. This will be more clear if we apply it to our example. And so this is our example here. The first step is to take a out of our x squared and x term. Do that by multiplying by 2 over 2, bringing the denominator inside the bracket, noting that we leave the c term alone, which is 3 in our case. Bring the 2 in the denominator inside the bracket, do some simple simplifications, and we arrive at this here. Take the coefficient on the x term, which we identify as 4, multiply it by 1/2, then square it. We're going to have to add and subtract by this term here, 4. Do that. The next step is to bring the negative term outside, which is negative 4 in our case, and do that by multiplying it by 2. Then we're left with this trinomial. You can use the factoring method just as before, finding two numbers that multiply to equal c and add to equal b. In our case, both going to be equal to 2. Write it in factored form here. We can arrive at our expression for the square, which is going to be x plus 2 squared. Plug that in for the trinomial, and then we can compute the term on the outside here. And then if we plug these two values in, we get this, and this is the vertex form for the standard equation given.